So video 3 of my 30-week video challenge that I'm challenging myself. And if you're clicking onto this one, either is that you've enjoyed my other 2 videos, or this is your first time, but either or, I hope you're enjoying this video. So if there's anything you think I could do more to improve my videos, please let me know. So in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about how do you get a job, or how do you get job experience so you can get a job in the first place? Because it's funny how most jobs would ask, they would like someone who has experience in work, but then for the most part is like, if you didn't have a job in the first place, then how do you get the experience, which is always an issue. So in this video, I'm gonna help you figure out how you can do that, because at least the way I did it, how I got a lot of job experience done, with myself, and to prove to you and to show you, to explain to you exactly how I did it, I will also be showing you or sharing with you my resume, so you can see my resume and I can explain step by step how I got those experiences in there. And I'll probably do that towards the end of the video. And yeah, so let's get right into it. My name is Alphonse. My videos are, of course, catered toward immigrants, African immigrants. If you're also like Spanish immigrant, I guess, but for the most part, I'm an African immigrant that's in the United States, and there's some things that I learned, and I'm just sharing them as I learn them, and hopefully I can help someone else who was in a situation similar to where I was. And I'm mostly just focused on finances. So if someone is out there like, man, what do you always talk about money? Because that's the only place that I'm decent at. If I was good at fitness, I would talk about that, but I'm not. If I was good at relationships, I would talk about that, but I'm okay. So it's not, I would just talk about something that I feel like I'm really competent in. And if you're also thinking about making your own videos, you should make videos on something So hopefully, that gives you an idea. So anyways, so yeah, if you're like someone who is looking for a job, and of course, when you look at the job posting, it's saying it needs someone with experience in this and that, and you are like, man, how do I even have that? Especially because I've never even had any experience. How do I get that? So I'm gonna give you a couple tips. So the first tip, which is the easiest tip you can do right now, is look for volunteer work. It's like the easiest place to get experience, because you can go and volunteer somewhere for a year, for a couple months, and learn so much more and have that in your experience because you were actually there doing it. And always, like in places that look for volunteers, like they're not gonna say no, because they're looking for people all the time. Like, who would say no to someone working for free? Like, it's like the best of both worlds. So if you're like already struggling and you're like, man, where do I even get somewhere I can get experience? Volunteer is the first place you can go. I volunteered in a couple places, and if anything, the good thing about volunteer work too is that it's not like you have to have a really tight time schedule where you commit a lot of time. You can literally choose how much time you can give to that volunteer work, and you can benefit a lot by getting experience. And that's something that even someone who doesn't have work experience, who doesn't have a work permit, you can do that. No one's stopping you from volunteering. And if anything, when you volunteer somewhere, you're actually gonna make connections. You're gonna meet people. I met people. You gotta get mentors. My mentor is someone that I met through volunteer work, and it's a lot of things that you can learn from that. And for the most part, most people don't think about that. So anyways, that's the first thing. The second thing is, if someone comes to ask you to help them do something, and it could be like something small, as much as tutoring. There's a lot of skills that come from doing work that might seem like not too much, but these are things that actually can count. Because if someone has experience in tutoring people in terms of like maybe teaching a subject, if it's math, if it's English, whatever it is, that shows that you have some skill sets that are there, such as empathy, which is a lot of workplaces are looking for. Empathy, leadership, and you can get those by jobs such as tutoring. If someone is struggling with their homework, because you're probably in college and you're thinking, how do I get some experience? And one way is to get into tutoring. You can help by tutoring people either in class or outside of class or in the schools, in the school campus. That's another easy way to get some work experience, especially because tutoring always needs people as well, because there's always someone struggling out there. And since you're there to help them, since you're good at it better than them, it doesn't mean you're better than them, it just means you can help them. So that's also another way to get some experience. A third way is get into, like, choose a skill that you want to have the experience in and go and just start doing it. And then you can start doing it and start providing it to people, maybe sometimes free of charge, and sometimes you can even charge them. And that could be an entrepreneurial job that you could do. I remember one time, it was maybe 2 years ago, where me and my brother were working at a car wash, and we noticed that we used to make our own lunch because we didn't like spending money on food, and on top of that, we just felt like our food tasted better. So we were making food, and then people at work were like, "Man, your food always smells good." So me and my brother started making extra at home, and at first we started giving to people for free, just like, "Hey, I'll bring you a plate tomorrow." And then I brought my plate, and I'm like, "Man, this is so good." And then later, people were like, "Man, if you brought me something, I'll pay you." And then just like that, that's the business just started right there. It didn't go for a long time, but then it's something that worked, and then you can have that in your resume, especially if it's something that you keep on doing for a couple months. You can put it on there, and especially because I'm gonna show you my resume how it looks. Now I remember I took a class in college, which because I needed like to just have credits, and I took a career success path whatever class, and I'm so glad that I took that class because one of our teachers, my professor in that class, she basically is she does resumes for people. That's her work. Like that's her contracting service type of thing where she just does resumes for people. So she taught us how to write a resume, and I'm so glad I had gone through that class because I really like how it's structured. So without further ado, I'm just gonna show you my resume. So I'm gonna screen record it on my iPad, and then I'll probably attach it in the video when I edit it. So as you can see here, it's very important that in your resume, you start with your name, and then, the city you're in, and maybe the phone number, email, and then you have a link to your LinkedIn profile. Now, one thing I'm going to talk about, LinkedIn. So I've worked different places. I've applied to a lot of jobs. Almost every job that I got through LinkedIn, the people that were posting the job would tell me that they value LinkedIn job prospects rather than any other platform. Like I've seen a lot of people use Indeed and I don't know, ZipRecruiter or whatever. And this is my personal opinion. Just based on what I've seen, people think that people who are on LinkedIn are a little bit more serious, higher quality compared to people on Indeed. So if you want to set yourself apart, have a LinkedIn profile and apply for jobs through there. People will take you a little bit more seriously, at least what I think. So anyways, you have your candidacy profile, and then you want to put something true. Like if you put there energetic and confident individual, and you're just, when you show up and you're like not who you are, then it's not, just make sure you be as authentic as possible and just have whatever skills you have. And if you don't have the skills, you can put that you're aspiring to have these skills. So stuff like that. So anyways, I'm gonna start. It shows where I work in terms of like to present, and then what you want to do always when you think about work, you have to also realize that for you to make money, like the process of making money is really about value exchange. Basically, you see someone that has a problem, and you help them, and then they pay you for helping them their problem. So making money is really like, if you look at the wealthiest person on earth, it's not because they're making money from thin air. They're literally helping people in something, and those people pay him in return for that thing that they help them with. So if you think about work that way, then it simplifies what you do. So when someone asks you what you do, you just don't say these things that never make sense. You have to figure out who exactly are you helping, and the who is actually the most important thing, because if any job, any work there's a specific person that you're helping. Like it's never for everyone. Like McDonald's has its own people, um, Burger King has its own people. Everybody has their specific set of people that they help. And as soon as you understand that, it helps you also understand whatever work you're doing, that you have to try and understand who is the ideal customer. It's never everyone. If someone tells you that what I have is for everyone, it means that it's for no one. Like whenever I hear someone that tells me like, oh, this is what I'm selling or what I have right here, this is for everybody. That means it's for nobody. Nothing's for everybody. Never. Everything that you have is probably for someone exact, specific person, and as long as that specific person has like a larger group of people, then you can make more money because you are serving a larger group of people compared to something that only serves a smaller group of people, unless that smaller group of people pays more. So, anyways, so yeah, I can, as you can see, you just have whatever company, what the time frame, and you talk about what you helped, and you put it in a language that even a 3-year-old can understand. One of the things that most people would think like, oh, if I put a name, words that people don't understand, then it sounds more professional. Like, I don't believe in that. I think simplification and being more clear is the best way possible, because someone can actually understand what exactly you're doing and what you like, even understand the way you communicate. Because one of the biggest mistakes people make in communication is thinking it happened. And that's a quote I took from someone. But anyways, it's basically, if you, the challenge of communication is that to make sure that the person that you're communicating to took in your information or message that you were trying to take to them. If you just said stuff and no one understood you, then you're basically not even talking to anyone. You're just talking to yourself. And that's why most people like struggle when it comes to communication. So even with me talking to this, like I'm talking to a camera right now, but I'm imagining that I'm talking to someone watching me on the screen. And because I'm imagining that, I hope my communication becomes even better and better. Because the people who are like the best communicator, when people speak in public or everyone that's listening to them feels like this person is talking to me. We're having a conversation, even though it's technically a monologue, but really, because when they speak, it's almost like they're speaking to that person, and their brain is turning and they're thinking. Then they feel like being they're being involved in that conversation. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I hope it makes sense. So yeah, if you see and like I said, right now I'm mostly focused on sales, but so that's why my jobs that are here are mostly on the sales representative side. But I'll show you, like here, Uncle Remus Sausage Fried Chicken. I worked there for a year, and that was like one of the best decisions I made. Now, here's another tip that I learned. So how I got this job was because I just looked at places that were around where I was, and I saw that one of the things that most people make a mistake is that they think like, if I go work somewhere that's big and known and like it's a respected entity, then like that's the best thing ever. But I believe that the best place to actually go and do something and learn is where there's a lot of problems. So always, when there's a problem is where there's an opportunity. Because if you go somewhere that everyone's already solved all the problems, then there's really nothing for you to do. You're just gonna go there and just feel like a cog in a piece of a machine that's just moving. What I like about going to places where there's a lot of problems is that you can make an impact. You can do stuff and you can feel like you've made a change. And even seeing those problems there, and you can think and problem solve, and then you can actually get some skills. Because whenever there's a problem, that means there's an opportunity. And that's why I also believe Africa is the next future. But that's a topic of another day. But like, if you think about it, when people say like, oh, I don't like Africa, there's a lot of problems there. But that's really what it is. Like, if there's a lot of problems, that means there's a solution. And that means there's an opportunity for you to go there and solve it. And when you solve it, you get paid. And I like getting paid. I don't know about you. But anyways, so that's that. And then another place, Beyond Green. So this is also a place where I really enjoyed my work. I learned a lot in this job, and this was also like this is where I learned Spanish. This is where I learned my first sales experience was there. Um, the Marvel. So this is a job that I got through school. So when I was going to school in culinary school, they would have all these people show up and look to recruit people, and I was always just talking to them, even though I didn't know that I would qualify to even be able to work. But I was talking to them, and I would tell them this is what I want, and you'll be surprised just telling people. Most of the time people think there's someone out there to get us or to do something bad to you. And I think if you believe that, then you would attract those type of people. I believe people like helping each other. Even if you think about it, if someone speaks in a way that's like you see that they're struggling in something, most people would actually want to help them. Like if you're watching this video and you see I have like 7 views, you're probably thinking like, man, I feel like this. If this is actually really valuable to you, you feel like, man, I want to help this guy get more outreach out there. I'm gonna like and subscribe and share whatever you're gonna do. But at the end of the day, it's because as humans we are empathetic. I believe as humans we're empathetic. There's some people who are not, but I think those people are very few. So if you actually have like you want to do something and you want to achieve something, it doesn't hurt to ask for help. Like for some reason people think like I'm just gonna keep it to myself and hopefully someone will come and save me. Closed mouths don't get fed. All right. So Velocity Hand Car Wash. I remember this is a car wash I worked for so long, and I also learned a lot of skills there. And then of course the other job I have here is I went down even when I worked in Tanzania, so I put all this stuff in there. And then volunteer work. So this is another place that you want to put. And I hope someone watching out there who, you're probably wondering how to get volunteer work. Man, there's so many places that are looking for volunteers. And that's like an opportunity to make connections and learn and expand your network. It's the easiest place to expand your network. Then skills and interests. So this is where like mentoring, like, stuff that you can go and learn. And like, there's definitely like nowadays with the internet, you can get a certificate from any course out there. You can literally, there's people selling courses online and you can go and take their courses and get certificates. And those are always things that are attractive to work to employers, because when employers see someone who is always striving to learn more, they definitely like that, because most people think like after school then they're done learning, and which is of course not true. I think as humans we're always striving to learn new things, and there's never someone who knows everything. There's always something to learn. And whenever they see someone that's always looking for something to learn, they already know that's a good quality person. So I hope this video helps you, and I'll see you on video number 4. Thanks, guys.